Hello, my name is Don Philibom, and I'll be your host tonight. With me today is Donna Serdula. Donna is the author of the book LinkedIn Makeover, which is available online or at your favorite bookstore. In the next hour, you're going to learn not only how to make over your LinkedIn profile, but you're going to gain a better understanding on how to make your profile work for you. Donna has a great deal of material to cover today, so have your pen ready. Let me give you a little background on Donna. Donna drew her inspiration to write her book because she recognized long before most how important the LinkedIn profile was going to be in job searches and career planning. Having spent the last 15 years working in business-to-business sales and marketing in the technology industry, Donna experienced firsthand what it meant to market your business on the web and forge strong digital relationships with clients and prospects. In 2009, Donna utilized her 15 years of professional sales and marketing experience to launch Donna Tech Designs, a social media website design and internet marketing consulting firm dedicated to assist small businesses in establishing a powerful presence on the internet. Donna now uses her experience and her knowledge to help small businesses promote themselves. She enjoys public speaking, often serves as a guest and a speaker on the benefits of social media, and has been a frequent guest with our program. Donna, thank you for joining with us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Don. It's a pleasure. And just as Don said, my name is Donna Serdula, and I'm the author of the book, LinkedIn Makeover, Professional Secrets to a Powerful LinkedIn Profile. And I don't know about you guys, but I remember the day when I joined LinkedIn. It was back November 28th, 2005, if you can believe that. In fact, LinkedIn has been around for a much longer period of time than even Facebook. In fact, LinkedIn came into existence back in 2002. So even though I joined in 2005, and that seems quite some time ago, I was clearly not one of the very first members of the site. But what I do remember is when I joined LinkedIn, one of the first things that they presented me with was the opportunity to fill out my LinkedIn profile. And I remember looking at it and sort of scratching my head, and I really had no idea what a LinkedIn profile was. I had no clue what to do. And as I looked at it, it almost looked a little bit like a resume. So I think I did what most people did at that time, is I just opened up my resume and I started to copy and paste the fields from my resume into my LinkedIn profile. And eventually, once I had it finished, it said, Donna, your profile is complete. And I remember thinking, gosh, that's a good job. You did a good job. You copied and pasted that resume into your LinkedIn profile. What's going to happen next? And quite honestly, I was excited because they told me that LinkedIn was the world's largest professional network, and it connects me to my trusted contacts, and it helps me find opportunities. But I got to tell you, guys, I don't know about you, but I saw no opportunities from LinkedIn at that point. I copied and pasted my LinkedIn profile. I sort of leaned back, and nothing happened. And I wondered, what in the world are they talking about? Why are they telling me that this is the greatest social network in the world when nothing happens from it? And I then just ignored it. Well, fast forward a few months, and I found myself heading up the Philadelphia territory of a Autodesk reseller called Microdesk. And in the slides that you see before you, that's me. That's me sitting in these trade show booths looking pretty happy. I spent my days at that time cold calling. I don't know how many of you have cold called. It's pretty terrifying and horrible. But I did indeed. I cold called because I needed to build that territory. It was a totally new territory, and I needed to find clients. And I started cold calling. And one of the things that I remember is I hit upon a prospect one day while I was cold calling. It was a perfect prospect. And it was really amazing. I remember having this great conversation. This was a huge deal. This would absolutely make my year if I could close this. And I remember I was able to set up an appointment with this person. And I hung up the phone very excited, having been able to schedule an appointment with this person. And the very first thing that I did upon getting that appointment is I decided I needed to Google his name because I wanted to learn everything that I could about him. And as I opened up my browser and I started typing in his name into Google, I had this feeling of dread come over me because I realized at that exact moment he was Googling me. He was curious. Who is this crazy broad calling him and wanting to take him out to lunch to learn more about his business? And as soon as I realized he was Googling me, I needed to Google myself because I had never done that before. And I remember deleting his name from Google and typing in my name. And you know what I found? The only pertinent result was my LinkedIn profile. And it looked like this. It looked like my resume. It didn't sell me as a high-performing sales executive. It didn't talk about my clients. It didn't have any recommendations. It was boring. And it absolutely did not in any way convey my value as a professional. And looking at this, I realized I had missed a huge opportunity to really forge a relationship much sooner. And I realized that most people today, it's a Google world, and it's all about how easy are you to get found and what is it that people find when they're looking for you. And at that moment, I realized that personal branding was absolutely imperative. From that moment on, I did whatever I could to really make that LinkedIn profile strong. And the more I optimized, the more I found that my sales calls went easier. People greeted me as if they knew me because they had been researching me. They wanted to learn more about me. And by making sure that what I provided them was optimized and authentic and really sold me, the better things got. In fact, within that first year, I had taken that territory from 0 to $3.4 million. Now, after a few years working that territory, I was given the opportunity to start off on my own. And at that point, I started LinkedIn Makeover. And right now what you're looking at is a screenshot of my website, linkedin-makeover.com. And I took all of that knowledge that I had utilizing LinkedIn to grow my territory and to really brand myself in a professional manner, and that's what we do for our clients today. Let's go back to LinkedIn. LinkedIn truly is a database of professionals. It's the world's largest professional social network. It just recently reached 200 million users. And when we look at it, 3.2 million are VPs and chief executive officers, 97 times more likely to have graduated college or have a postgraduate degree. People on LinkedIn, their average household income is $88,000. So when we look at LinkedIn, it's filled with a demographic of pure professionalism. This is not a place like Facebook. This is not where we post pictures of kittens. This is not where we talk about soccer teams. This is purely and absolutely professional. In fact, if we go so far into looking at LinkedIn in terms of recruitment, what we found is 80% of companies today are using social media for recruitment. And of that 80%, 95 are using LinkedIn to find talent. Knowing that people are searching for you, knowing that if you want to find a job, a position, LinkedIn is the place to be. Now, before we go any further, what I'd like to do is get a better feeling for the audience, the success that you've had on LinkedIn. And so what I would love for you to do right now is, within your questions tab, could you please answer the following question? How many of you have been contacted by a recruiter on LinkedIn? go ahead, go to your questions tab and answer that, and Dawn is going to give me the aggregate number.
Responses are coming in. Boy, it's a huge number. It's looking like 20% of the numbers coming through are yes.
Wow. All right, fantastic. So a lot of you have been contacted by a recruiter on LinkedIn. How many of you have found a job on LinkedIn? I'd love to hear that. How many of you have found a job on LinkedIn?
And responses are coming in. We're getting about 10% right now.
10%, okay. How many of you have used LinkedIn to reconnect with people? How many have used it to reconnect with people through your lives?
And that one's going off the charts. It's probably 70, 75%, it looks like.
Yeah, absolutely. And that right there, guys, that's one of the #1 reasons why people use LinkedIn. It's for networking. How about prospecting for business? Of those out there today, how many of you are using LinkedIn to prospect for business?
Now, Donna, this one surprises me because that's showing around 15%.
Oh, that's surprising. Well, those who aren't, keep watching this this presentation. I'm going to show you exactly how you can be prospecting for business on LinkedIn. I myself have done that very, very successfully. It's an amazing sales tool. How many of you feel that LinkedIn has enhanced your reputation? How many of you feel that LinkedIn has enhanced your reputation in the eyes of your audience?
And again, the number's a little lower than I thought. It looks like around 28%.
All right, well, guess what, guys? You are in the right presentation because I'm going to show you how to utilize LinkedIn to truly enhance it. Okay, let's go a little bit further. How many people have used it to research prospects and vendors and candidates and potential partners? How many people use LinkedIn as a research tool to learn more about other people?
Now we're hitting in the 55%.
Oh, fantastic. Right, because LinkedIn is a database of professionals for professionals. It is made up of those profiles, and people fill out those profiles. It's a great way to learn more about people that you interact with. So let me ask you this. How many of you use it to act as a connector? When I say to use it to act as a connector, how many of you are actively on LinkedIn and saying, hey, let me introduce you to this person, or you and you would be perfect people to connect with. Let me introduce you together. How many people are using LinkedIn to really help people and give them that connection that they need?
Donna, that's a great question while that number's coming in, because that is such a nice thing to have someone else reach out and say, hey, Don, you should meet Donna. It's a terrific tool. And it doesn't look like many of us are doing that, probably because we don't have time, about 5-6%.
Okay. How many of you are using it for networking reasons? Are you actually, I call it networking in your pajamas. How many of you are going on and connecting with people and just, befriending people and sending them articles and really being a professional friend to people? How many of you are using LinkedIn to network in your pajamas?
That's an interesting question, too, because I find Sunday mornings are the time to check LinkedIn, right, and find out what's happening among other people.
And the beautiful part of LinkedIn is you can do it in your pajamas. You don't need to get all dressed up and go out to a bar or to a networking event to do it.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's looking like about 65%.
All right, fantastic. And how many of you are using LinkedIn to find inspiration? Because LinkedIn is truly, it's just a compendium of articles and ideas. People are posting amazing information on LinkedIn's homepage through the status updates. How many people are logging in just to learn more, to further their education, to find that inspiration, to learn more in terms of the articles that are posted?
Well, that's true. With the ability to participate in groups where individuals share long dissertations about issues and ideas, I find that I'm using it quite frequently to learn about the industry. And it looks like about 45% of the folks in our audience today are doing that.
Fantastic. And those that aren't, realize that LinkedIn is there for you. All you have to do is log in. That front page is just filled with wonderful articles and ideas and things that you can use. And let's go here. How many people use it just to find people who can help them? How many of you have gone in and just done a search just for someone who could possibly fill that role, who could fill that need that you might have, whether it's for recruitment or if it's for a vendor or if it's to find a partner? How many people have used LinkedIn to find someone who can help them?
And you're talking about someone to help them find a job, do business with them?
Absolutely. Anything like that. I mean, anyone who's reached out to use LinkedIn to find someone who can in some manner, way, shape, or form help them in some professional manner.
Yeah, we're off the charts, 83%.
Wow. All right. Let's skip other, but let's go with none. Is there anyone out there who says, gosh, I haven't found any success on LinkedIn so far to this date? Are there any nones out there?
Well, there are comments coming in that they're waiting to find what's the return on investment. It's a common question I think we're seeing frequently with social media is, I don't have a lot of time to invest in it, and I've put some time in it, I'm not getting back. We're getting quite a few comments related to that. What's my return on investment? Where did I get the job? Where did I get to do business with someone?
All right. Well, we will go further. We will dig further into all of those. So fantastic. This gives me a better understanding of what the success you've experienced on LinkedIn. So let's move on to the next slide, and that is, it's time for all of you to take out your pen and your paper, because I'm going to start giving you some amazing information. Basically, I'm going to give you 5 tips that you can use to crank up your impact and results on LinkedIn today. These are 5 action items that if you, upon this presentation ending, put these items into use, you will find immediate success on LinkedIn. So let's get started. Number 1, I want you to optimize. I already told you that people are using LinkedIn for research. They are using LinkedIn to find out more about you. They are using LinkedIn to find talent. And knowing that, they are looking at your LinkedIn profile, and you are shaping their perception of you. And so it's imperative that you make sure that your LinkedIn profile truly conveys the professional that you are. Let's look at these 2 profiles. We've got Jean on the left, and we've got Simon on our right. If we look at Jean's, all she did was copy and paste her resume into her LinkedIn profile. In fact, she decided to take the most unattractive photograph that she could find of herself, and she used that as her profile picture. And she thought she did a great job. But then we have Simon on our right. And Simon's profile, now this is a profile that is truly compelling. It's engaging. It's interesting. It gives us more information about him. And so when we say, who do you want to be, it's very clearly the profile on the right is the one that we want to truly have. That's the one that's most interesting and engaging. But why? What did Simon do differently than Jean? Why is Simon's profile so much better? So let's look at it. The very first thing is that Simon has professionally taken photographs. He didn't just take it against the wall with a digital camera or his cell phone camera. He actually went to a professional photographer, and he made sure that he looked as good as possible. And he smiled, and he looks approachable and friendly and kind. The other thing is he optimized his headline. He uses his keywords. He uses symbols. And there's a clear call to action within the headline. It makes a person who's looking at him in search results say, hey, I want to learn more about this guy. Let me click to learn more. The other thing that he has are experiences. They are complete. They show his complete career trajectory, and they're keyword rich. And when I say keyword rich, what that means is he recognized why people are trying to find him. They are looking at certain terms because they don't know, people aren't always using LinkedIn to find a person by name. They're using LinkedIn to find a person through keywords. So if someone is searching for a procurement director or a VP of purchasing or someone who's a cost reduction expert, they're going to find him because he uses those words throughout his profile. Recognize this, guys. You can't be found if those words don't exist within your profile. He has many connections. He doesn't have just 100 or 150. He has over 500 connections. He's listed his websites. He's customized his URL. And in his summary, rather than just simply copying and pasting what was in his resume, he actually writes a compelling and interesting summary. It introduces him. It talks about what he does and the results that he offers. And very lastly, at the very end, there is a clear call to action and his contact information. And so he actually says to the reader, hey, I want you to connect with me on LinkedIn, and if you'd like to learn more about how I can help you, give me a call, and he includes his contact information. These are absolutely imperative items to have on your LinkedIn profile. So let's go a little bit further into one's profile picture, because that's the number one item that I see over and over and over again that people fail at. On our left, we have pictures that look good. On our right, we have pictures that do not look good. I don't think I have to tell you that taking a profile picture in which there is a parrot sitting on your head is not a good idea. You do not want to be hula hooping in your profile picture. You do not want to upload a picture of Lurch, or you don't want to be really posing with your prize show dogs. These are not good ideas. You want to make sure that the picture that you take is a professionally taken photograph. You want to be looking clean and well adjusted. You want to look friendly and happy. Notice how most of these pictures on the left, the background is either white or it's black, because that really shows us off. All right, we want to be the focus. You yourself, you want to be the focus. We don't want to have a busy background behind us. We want to make sure that we're smiling, and we want to look good and presentable. Okay? So when you go and get your profile picture taken, please, whatever you do, do not use a picture taken at a wedding. So if we're going to offer you tips to a better profile picture, I have to state, please have it professionally taken. Yes, it's an investment, but it's an investment that is well worthwhile. This is who you are to the world, and you want to make sure that you look as good as possible. Do not use a picture that was taken at a wedding. I don't care if a professional photographer snapped that picture. It's still going to be very clear that it was a picture taken at a wedding. I want you to make sure that you're looking straight into the camera. Don't look down. Don't look away. You want to meet your reader in their gaze. You want to look straight at them. I don't want you to wear sunglasses. I don't want you looking away. Like I said before, I want you to use a pale color background. In fact, you can even use a black background. That's fine. I just don't want it to be distracting or busy. All right, I want you to dress professionally. I want you to dress in a manner that you would dress if you were going for an interview or to a client meeting. Don't wear a bathing suit. Don't wear a Hawaiian shirt. That's not going to cast you in the best light. In fact, I can't help but think of what my mother told me back when I was starting off in my career. She said, don't dress for the job that you have, dress for the job that you want. Lastly, I want you to zoom in close. I want you to really frame your face in that profile picture. I don't want to see any elbows. I don't want to see any knees, and I absolutely do not want to see any sneakers. This should be a picture just of your face and nothing more. Let's talk about your headline. Now, your headline is right after your name. It's next to your profile picture, and this is what causes people to want to learn more about you. The default headline that LinkedIn provides you is simply your title, your job title, and the company that you work at. That's what just defaults automatically. But I say, just delete that. That's not what you want. You want your headline to be like a headline in a newspaper. You want it to really compel a person. You want it to catch their eye. You want it to make them want to read more about you. And so if we look at some of these headlines of my clients, you can see Robert Kelly. It says, helping companies improve their supply chain management to prepare for future growth. How can I help you? There's actually a question there. If we look at other ones, they're infused with keywords, and they really compel you to want to read more about that person. So not only do I want you to get a professionally taken picture, but I want you to spend some time really making sure that headline jumps, that it really compels a person and catches their eye. But the thing is, I know it's very hard for people to do that. You're not all copywriters out there. And so what I've done is I've created a LinkedIn headline generator. It's an ebook that's available on my website, linkedin-makeover.com. And so what I'd love for you to do is write that down, linkedin-makeover.com. And if you visit that website, on the far right-hand corner, on that right sidebar, you're going to see a picture, just like what you're seeing right there, of my LinkedIn headline generator. You can download that. I offer that to you for free. And in 5 minutes flat, following those directions, you can create very easily your own really sexy, really interesting, really compelling LinkedIn headline that you can immediately add to your LinkedIn headline profile and get people taking notice of you immediately. And so, lastly, I want you to hire a professional photographer to take your picture, and I don't want you to copy and paste your resume into your LinkedIn profile. You have to realize that your LinkedIn profile and your resume are two totally different things. Your resume, it's your professional past. It's what you've done. But your LinkedIn profile, it's your career future. It's who you are today, and it's the results that you offer. It's the impact that you make. It's why people will like you. It's really giving them a reason to be impressed by you. It's your sales proposition. It's your professional manifesto. So don't just cop out and copy and paste your resume, but really look at it as something that's going to truly change your future. I want you to include your contact information, and if you need help optimizing your LinkedIn profile, simply visit linkedin-makeover.com, and I have tons of free resources available along with some products and services that will truly help you get the LinkedIn profile that you deserve. So number one was optimize your LinkedIn profile. Number two, in order to truly crank up your results and impact on LinkedIn, you're going to have to build and use your LinkedIn network. So let's talk a little bit more about what your LinkedIn network is. Your LinkedIn network is comprised of profiles. It's comprised of connections, people that you've connected to. In fact, you can even think of LinkedIn as a Rolodex full of connections, people that you have met along the way throughout your career. And if we think of it as a Rolodex, you have to realize that an empty Rolodex is totally useless. And so if you want to get any value from a Rolodex, you need to connect. You need to add names to it. The big issue that I find day in and day out as I deal with my clients is they simply don't connect with enough people on LinkedIn to make their time on LinkedIn worthwhile. And so let's go back to that questions tab. I'd like to ask you a few more questions. How many first-degree connections are in your network? Now, I know you might not know immediately, so let's just do a quick average, just do a quick benchmark. How many of you think that you have less than 100 people in your LinkedIn network? And I'm talking about people that you're directly connected to. So, Don, what is the answer? How many people are less than 100? Are we getting any answers there? How many are less than 100 connections in their LinkedIn network?
We're just getting the summary right now. Less than 100 looks like about 20%.
Okay. Then how many of you feel that you have somewhere between 100 to 300 first-degree connections in your LinkedIn network? Somewhere between 100 and 300. Just go into that questions tab and let us know.
And that's about 35.
Okay. How about 300 to 500? How many of you are somewhere in that 300 to 500 range of first-degree connections in your LinkedIn network that you have connected with somewhere between 300 to 500 people directly?
That takes a bit of effort, a little bit of work to build that. And that's looking at about 15%.
Okay. How many are in that 500 to 1,000 range? How many people have really used LinkedIn to truly network, and they've built their network up so they have somewhere between 500 to 1,000 first-degree connections in their LinkedIn network? How many of you can say that you have somewhere between 500 to 1,000 first-degree connections?
That's a real networker. I was the number 100,000 in signing up with LinkedIn, and currently at about 1,200, and that's taken many, many years. So it's looking about 2%.
Okay, and so let's see. I'm very curious. Is there anyone out there who has over 1,000 connections on LinkedIn? I'm very curious to hear that. And I will tell you, I have over 10,000 connections on LinkedIn, believe it or not, Don.
That's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah, we're getting, Sam has got over 1,000, Ted, Sally. So there's quite a few that are out there with 1,000.
Wow. Ted, Sam, and Sally, you guys are doing great. Over 1,000, that is truly a milestone, and that is something to be proud of. And in fact, all of you who are out there today, I hope that once you learn the importance of connecting, you will add me to your LinkedIn network this evening. So let's move on to the next slide. So what does connecting on LinkedIn mean? All right, a lot of times people are very, they're almost confused. They only want to connect with people that they know very, very well, and they only trust them. And so they're almost shy. They don't want to connect with people that they're not 100% sure of. Well, when you connect on LinkedIn, basically what you're doing is you're inviting that person to be a part of your network of connections. It means that you can see their status updates and their LinkedIn activity, and that they can see yours. You're able to see shared connections. So you'll be able to see into their connections to see who you guys share in terms of connections. You also have access, potential access, to the people that they're connected to. You can request and receive requests for introductions. So if you want to meet someone within their pool of connections, you can absolutely go in there and say, hey, can you introduce me to so-and-so? Also, you can give and receive recommendations and endorsements. So when you are immediately connected to a person, you can request a recommendation, you can give them a recommendation, as well as endorsements. But the real big thing here is connecting on LinkedIn does not equal endorsement. I don't know how many of you can see who this person is. Do you want to go into the questions tab and give Dawn the name of this person? I would love to see who's the first person who can name this fella on my slide. Has anyone named him Don? Does anyone know who this guy is? Did anyone figure out who this guy is?
Yeah, we're getting a lot of Bernie Madoffs.
Fantastic, fellas. Yes, absolutely. Bernie Madoff. So I'm not in any way suggesting that you connect with Bernie Madoff, not in any way. But what I'm trying to do is prove a point, which is when you connect on someone on LinkedIn, you don't necessarily have to like them. You don't even have to necessarily trust them. But connecting on LinkedIn in no way equals endorsement. All it means is that you're connecting to their network and you have access to their network and they have access to your network. Not necessarily that they're going to be able to message everyone, but it's a way of connecting to you. So when I say that I want you to connect, it's absolutely important that you make sure that your LinkedIn network reflects your offline network. All right? So if you get on LinkedIn and you just simply don't connect with people, you're never going to find any value in it. And so what I want you to do is I want you to make sure that you're connecting. You want to connect with your family. You want to connect with your friends. You want to connect with your alumni. You want to connect with old colleagues and your employers and recruiters and past customers and people that you meet along the way. Really make LinkedIn your Rolodex. I don't know if anyone noticed the word there that says lions. A lot of times people think that's a typo, but it's not, because lion actually is a term. It stands for LinkedIn Open Networker. I myself am a LinkedIn Open Networker. You don't get to 10,000 connections if you're not. I certainly don't know everyone in my network, but I connect with them anyway because I recognize that in order to find opportunity, you have to expand far beyond the people that you know and you trust. In fact, if you think about it, if you were to go to a networking event or a business card exchange, you don't just go and stand in the corner and talk to the people that you know and you trust. You branch out. You want to meet more people because that's really where opportunity lies. And so in order for you to really find true success on LinkedIn, you need to connect with people. And at this point, a lot of times people say to me, but what about my competitor? What about this person that I really don't like? Well, I like to say, think about that scene from The Godfather where Marlon Brando says, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. I say connect, 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 even with your competitor. Because when you connect with your competitor, you're keeping them close and you get to see what they're doing and you get to see into their network. So don't be shy. Connecting is a very good thing to do. Let's talk a little bit more about our LinkedIn network. The LinkedIn network is based upon 3 degrees. And so we have first degree, second degree, and third degree, along with group members. But what does this mean? Let's think about it in terms of Kevin Bacon. Okay? So if Kevin Bacon, if he is us, and he connects to a guy named John, and they exchange the invitation, and they know each other, they are first degree. All right? Now, if John knows Mary, Mary becomes Kevin's second degree. Mary knows Joe. Now, Joe doesn't know John, and Joe doesn't know Kevin, but that makes Joe Kevin's third degree connection. And then we have Audra out in the very far, far right. Now, Joe knows Audra, but guess what? She is not within Kevin Bacon's network because the LinkedIn network only goes out 3 degrees. So it's only the people that he knows, they know, and they know, but no further. And so if Joe was looking for a washed-up 80s actor on LinkedIn, he would absolutely find Kevin Bacon. So would Mary, and so would John. But if Audra was looking for a washed-up 80s actor on LinkedIn, guess what? She wouldn't find him because they do not share a network. All right? And so that's one of the reasons why a lot of times people say connect, connect, connect. When they're in your network, they will find you. When they are outside your network, it's a lot harder to be found. And then, of course, there's Hank. Hank shares a group in common with Kevin Bacon, and that's why he's in that network. So when you join groups on LinkedIn, all of those group members are added to your network, which means you'll be that much easier to be found. Let's move on. Let's talk about search. When you go into LinkedIn, there is an advanced search link on the upper right-hand side. Very few people ever use it, but that's where you go. And when you search for a person in LinkedIn, it actually is searching your LinkedIn network, those first, second, third degree people along with those groups. And so if I was to search for myself, such as a LinkedIn profile writer, these are the people that pop up. And notice, why do they pop up? They pop up because they are first and second degree connections. All right? Why do I pop up first? It's not because I'm searching within my own account. It's because I used those keywords over and over and over again within my LinkedIn profile. I wish there was a better way of saying it, but honestly, in order to rank high within LinkedIn, it's all about keyword density. The more times you say that keyword, the better you're going to rank. So let's say I want to have a meeting with President Obama. If I do a search on LinkedIn for Barack Obama, I can see that he's a second-degree connection to me. And knowing that he's a second-degree connection, I can look on the right and I can see how I'm connected to President Obama. I can see that Neil Steiner and Jim Schomper are directly connected to him. And so if I decide that I want to have lunch at the Oval Office, all I need to do is give a call to Neil or James and ask for that introduction. LinkedIn offers those inside connections. Truly, the power of LinkedIn is that it takes invisible relationships and it turns them visible. It's all about those 3 degrees of separation. So I want you to remember, you need to build your network, you need to connect, and then connect some more. And it's important that you use your network. Recognize what first, second, and third degree means. Search and research and find those inside connections. Number 3. So of my 5 tips, number 1 was optimize. Number 2 was build and use your network. Number 3 is pay some money. LinkedIn is a good company, and they absolutely deserve our support. In fact, when you purchase their premium plans, you get some amazing, amazing, amazing tools for that expenditure. In fact, I'm going to tell you this. There is a hidden plan available. When you go to upgrade, you're often confronted by plans that cost a lot of money, typically about $30 to $40 a month. But there is a $7.95 plan available that LinkedIn hides from you. If you visit my website, linkedin-makeover.com, and you go click on the free resources, I have a video that shows you how you can access this discounted plan. And with that discounted plan, you're able to see everyone who has ever looked at your profile. Yes, it's true. You can absolutely see everyone who has ever checked you out, who has ever looked at your LinkedIn profile. It's awesome for prospecting. It's awesome to see how you're doing. And it really gives you a better feel for the success that you're having on LinkedIn. And so when you pay money to LinkedIn, not only do you have some dirt in the game, but you've got access to more search results. You've got more introductions. You have the ability to message people outside of your network. You have a virtual CRM, a profile organizer. You get a premium badge that shows that you're not a cheapskate, and you have access to the Open Link Network, which means you can connect to anyone else who's paying for LinkedIn. It's truly awesome. I cannot tell you that this is really the right thing for you to do. I can't tell you enough how great it is. Number 4 in my 5 tips is share your status updates. I want you to get into LinkedIn and use it like you're using Facebook, but use it for more of a professional way. By sharing your updates, what you're really doing is you're drip feeding. You're keeping yourself top of the mind aware in your audience's eyes. So at the very top of the screen, that's where you post. You can post information on your professional life, projects that you're involved in, interesting articles that you've read, events that you're attending, mentorship. Just think in terms of how you can help educate people. You want to add value. Once you post, that information is going to fall towards the bottom, and that's where you listen, because that's not only where your status update goes, but that's where everyone else's status updates go. Think of this as Facebook, but Facebook for adults. And when you're listening and you're reading what other people are talking about, you can interact with them. You can click like and you can comment. It's amazing. It really allows you to stay top of the mind aware. You're able to truly drip feed to your clients, to your prospects, and keep yourself, up on top of their mind. And so what I want you to remember is I want you to share expert advice, share links to compelling articles, upcoming events, business ventures, jobs, questions and requests. Go in there and just use LinkedIn as that social network. I do not want you sharing pictures of kittens. I don't want you sharing pictures of vacation slides or kids playing soccer or stupid trivial items that you're deciding to take a walk or decided to eat a hot dog for lunch. Those are not items to share. LinkedIn is truly a professional network. You want to keep it in that manner. And lastly, number 5. So number 1 was to optimize. Number 2 was to use your network. All right. Number 5, I want you to stay positive and have fun. In fact, think of that speech that JFK gave back in the 60s in which he said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. Think about that in terms of LinkedIn. Ask not what your LinkedIn network can do for you, but what you can do for your LinkedIn network. You want to be on LinkedIn and you want to provide value. You want to inspire people. You want to be putting good things out there. You want to send out recommendations. You want to post interesting articles. You want to stay top of the mind aware, but you want to be providing value. Don't go on LinkedIn like I did in the very beginning and just say, hey, where can I get opportunity? Opportunity does not come in that way. It's when you're out there helping and you're really just splashing around and you're having fun. When you're providing that value, that's when opportunity comes back to you. So let's review. Number 1 was optimize your profile. Number 2 was build and use your network. Number 3 was pay some money. 4 was share those updates. And 5 was to simply smile and have fun on LinkedIn. It really is an amazing social network. It's a great one. What I'd love for all of you to do, all of you who are on this call with me today, I'll be very disappointed if I log in tomorrow and I do not see that any of you connected with me. This is an open invitation. Please connect with me on LinkedIn. In order to find me, all you need to do is search for my name, Donna Serdula, or you can just visit me directly. LinkedIn.com/in/2Donna. In fact, you can even visit my website, linkedin-makeover.com, where you can download my headline generator when you sign up for my newsletter. Or if you'd like to work with me directly, because what I do is write people's LinkedIn profiles for them. All you need to do is visit linkedin-makeover.com. We now have 10 minutes remaining to our hour, and I would love to open the floor to any questions that you might have for me. Anything that has to relate to LinkedIn or networking or personal branding, please feel free. I'm here to answer any questions that you might have.
Donna, thank you very much. That's a lot of information, and it's fun because we can implement it immediately. And there's a lot of questions that are coming in. I know we're not going to have time for all of them, but to get started, we've got a question from Mark, and it's kind of an interesting question related to not wanting a person to know that they were looking at their profile. Is there any way to get around me looking at your profile and you not knowing about that?
So, Mark, I want you to recognize that, yes, it's a little disturbing to know that people know that you're looking at them. Yeah, that's kind of weird. It's a little freaky. It feels like you're a bit of a stalker. But I want you to know that it's a good thing. When other people see that you're checking out their profile, they feel good about it. They feel touched. It makes them want to check out your profile. And if your profile is optimized, it means that they're forming a really good, a very good feeling for you because your LinkedIn profile has truly showed the right content. But let's say we really do want to sneak around and we don't want people to know. Well, there is a way. If you go into your settings, you can actually turn off your visibility settings. You want to set yourself at anonymous. And when you do that, you can hunt around and look and stalk at people, and no one will know. So you need to go into your settings. Now, I can't tell you step-by-step how to do that, but if you visit my website, linkedin-makeover.com, and you look on the right-hand side, I have tons of different topics, one of which is staying anonymous on LinkedIn. That will give you step-by-step directions on how to turn off the ability for people to see that you were looking at their LinkedIn profile.
Very good advice for a competitive reason. Question coming in from Susan, and this relates to, and I noticed this on your website, you have 99 plus people recommending you, Donna, in a number of different areas. And so Susan wants to know, how can she get more people to recommend her and to kind of grow those badges of people's pictures?
Now, are we talking, Donna, are we talking about endorsements, or are we talking about recommendations?
I believe, because she's mentioning the pictures, it's the endorsements. Yeah.
All right. And this was Susan who asked that question?
Yes.
Susan, I have 2 words for you. Actually 3 words for you. Quid pro quo. All right? What I want you to do, and if you want more endorsements, what you need to do is endorse more people. You go out there and you start endorsing people. Now, I am not in any way saying that you endorse people for just willy-nilly. No. Make sure that you're endorsing people in the right way, people that you know, people that you admire. Go in there and endorse them. When they see that you've endorsed them, they're going to be struck with a deep sense of guilt, and they're going to endorse you. All right? So if you want to get your endorsements up, you need to go out and start endorsing people. The other thing is, don't forget that old adage, the squeaky wheel gets oil, right? So if you want to get more endorsements, what you need to do is you need to go in there and start messaging people and asking them to endorse you. It's that simple. You ask or you endorse other people and hope that they're struck by a deep sense of guilt. Now, if you need help with figuring out what wording that you can use to make people endorse you, I suggest going to my LinkedIn-Makeover website. I have a LinkedIn toolbox that comes with tons of templates and other types of examples that you can download and immediately use. And one of those is how to ask people for those endorsements, because it is a little weird.
Question coming in from Danielle, and this relates to groups. Can you give a better understanding on how you can use groups to be able to expand your network and connect with more people faster?
Oh, that's a fantastic question, Danielle. And groups are a fantastic way to expand your LinkedIn network. Now, notice, when I talk about it, I'm not telling you to interact in the groups. I'm simply saying join more groups. You can join up to 50 groups. I say join all 50 groups. In fact, you want to be very strategic. You want to think in terms of who do you want to be intersecting with? Where is opportunity, the opportunity that you are interested in? Who's going to provide that type of opportunity? You need to figure out who your target audience is. Once you figure out who that target audience is, those are the groups that you want to join. What groups are they in? Those are the groups that you want to join. And so if you're an insurance agent, I would not suggest joining groups where there are other insurance agents. Those are just your competitors. Instead, if you're an insurance agent, you want to maybe join groups where there are small business owners, because those are your clients, okay? So I want you to join groups where your clients, your potential prospects are. I want you to join groups with large amounts of members. So if you find the perfect group and there's only like 300 people in it, skip it. It's not enough. You want to join groups that have a lot of members. And that's really, truly a really passive way of getting a lot of use out of LinkedIn, simply joining groups. Now, you can turn off the activity feed, the emails, and just join the groups just to have those people added to your network. Now, clearly, you could utilize groups in a much more proactive sense, meaning that you're actually in there and you're interacting and you're adding value, and that's a great thing to do. But quite honestly, most of us out there just don't simply have the time to do it. And so what I do suggest is join all 50 groups, find 1 or 2 groups that you can interact with, and then have fun with it. Really make it something that you enjoy doing. But again, realize that there's only so much time in the day.
And that's a good segue for another question from Thomas. Thomas is wondering of how much time should he be spending a day? You know, many of us go to lunches to network, go to breakfasts to network. What do you think we should be spending on a daily basis?
I would say 38 minutes every day to the second, 38. No, honestly, there is no time. You want to think of it like email. You know, if you think back in the 90s or, you know, whenever, when you first got email, it was like, how much time do I spend on email? Well, there is no time. You just do it. It's a tool. It's something that you use and you find value in, and you can't honestly say how often you're on it. And that's the way I say utilize LinkedIn. Really use it, have fun with it, keep it up there, you know, access it when you need it, and you're going to find value from it. Don't think of it as something like, oh, I've got to spend 5 minutes on this in the morning and 10 minutes at night. It's never going to work for you in that manner. But really use LinkedIn as a sales tool. Use it as a way of finding people. Use it as a way of connecting with people. When you have a really interesting article, share it. You know, realize that it's no longer just about you, but it's you and your audience, and you do have an audience. You need to create that audience, and then you need to feed it with interesting information. Once you start doing that, I swear to God, you are going to find value from it.
We've got time for 2 quick questions, and this is from Kathy in Atlanta. How do you access the profile stats in order to monitor visitors and monitor visitors on what searches you've appeared? She found it accidentally but can't find it again.
Okay, if you go to the right-hand side, it's going to say how many people have viewed your profile. That in itself is a hyperlink. So you just want to go there and click. It'll say, you know, 10 people have viewed your profile in the last 30 days. That is a hyperlink. That's what you're going to click on. That's what's going to take you to the profile stats. Now, it is important for you to realize that you need to be a paying premium member to access the additional stats, which is more than 5 people have viewed your profile, and you get to see the keywords. But it's on the far right-hand side underneath who has viewed your profile. That's where you're going to find those profile stats.
And a question from Andy. Is it a good idea to follow companies, and how can that benefit me as I grow my network?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I would follow companies. It's a great way of just staying updated on what they're doing. Quite honestly, the real power within LinkedIn is still the person. In fact, just recently I was listening to a webinar, not much different than this, and the person speaking said, you know, at one time we used to talk about B2B and B2C, but those terms are dead. It's now P2P. It's no longer business to business or business to consumer. It's now person to person. And I truly believe that. Within LinkedIn, it's all about the people. So, yes, follow companies, but recognize that the real power is within the individual within LinkedIn.
Excellent. Donna, thank you for spending the time with us tonight to share these bits of information. It's a lot of information that I think we can implement immediately. Your suggestion to check out your website for the resources sounds like a good one, because it sounds like it's rich with resources. So again, we thank you for spending the time with us tonight.
Thank you so much. And all of you out there, please, please, please connect with me on LinkedIn. I would love to hear from you. I'd love to answer any other questions that you might have. Thank you so much for having me, Don. It's been a wonderful, wonderful evening.
And we thank all of you for joining us on another Wednesday night. Stop back anytime to watch the recording of this presentation or any of the other recordings that you might have missed. From Donna, the association, and myself, keep working on your career, and have a good night.
Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.